It's a timer.
Howdy.
What? Are we live?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're live? Live on the internet?
Yeah.
Yes, we're live on the internet for the interneting.
We've been doing that all day.
For the interneting, we've gone live on the internet. And?
Yeah, yeah.
And we've found ourselves on the internet on Monday. Let's check out the chat here. What up, everybody? Oh, we got to do the beep, 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 beep.
Internet!
Right? And let's check out the chat here. Happy Monday. How's everybody doing? Sorry about the 15 minutes late,
What
but
was that? That was like a weird clap.
we have to double check. Yes. Yes, Monday. Then now you know it's
All right.
Monday. Checking out the chat, we've got Frank Dominguez back. Number one with a bullet. Current accumulative reigning champion. I believe Gabe W was first yesterday. I think it was Gabe W. I'm not 100% sure. But nevertheless, number two, Gabe W to the chat. And Bracken bringing in the third. Not bad. That's bronze. Which is...
You should have a yearly award.
I should get a yearly award. We're going to have to get to...
Keep track of points
Keep
on
track.
like a whiteboard. And then it's got to be something that's like kind of not awesome, but kind of awesome. Like,
Yeah.
you mean that troll doll that he custom painted? Oh, yeah. I currently hold it this year.
Yeah. I have to find a place that sources the whiteboard in a bulk, giant size, that is not Hobby Lobby. That's
You
the only
need
place
that much
near me.
whiteboard?
Yeah, well, because I'm going to cut them down to custom sizes. So I'm trying to find a big sheet of whiteboard that I can cut down into little whiteboards and put all over the place and just keep constantly writing notes all over the wall to myself.
Ask
and,
Lucas Bretz. He does that same thing, but I have a feeling he's going to be like, yeah, you get it at Menards. And we'll be like, yeah, we don't have that. Sorry.
Oh, we have Menards.
Where?
Well, in Tacoma.
Well, la-ti-da.
Natty. No, big fancy Mr. Tacoma man. That's right. But we also have McClendon's down there. I bet you McClendon's has it. I haven't checked there yet. But Home
I don't have
Depot,
anything.
Home Depot didn't have it.
Depot.
And neither did Lowe's for whatever reason. I don't know why. But Hobby Lobby did, but I refused to give them my money.
Oof. And they're not open on a Sunday.
They're not open on Sunday?
Mm-mm.
Why not? There's a lot of
Religion.
people crafting. There's a lot of people crafting on
Religion.
Sunday, you know? It's when we do our crafts. Like...
I'm just going to
pumpkin
say...
stuff. The house smelled like pumpkin because Vicky was doing all this pumpkin stuff yesterday, and
Yeah.
she didn't want me to spoil the surprise that she's doing all this pumpkin stuff.
Well, then don't surprises it.
I already spoiled it yesterday by talking
Oh.
about it. She didn't want me to spoil it, but I'm hyping it up. That's
Okay.
That's the hype.
Now you're the
game.
hype man.
Is that at some point in time, y'all are going to see a video from Vicky and her pumpkinery.
Yeah.
Crafty Sunday style pumpkining. All right. Well, happy Monday, everybody. You notice that we're not necessarily
My hands are dirty.
we're
I
not at
actually
my
worked.
studio. We're up here at the Aquarium Co-op studio, which has more upsides than mine.
Not internet-wise.
Not internet-wise, though. At least for a couple weeks.
You'll always be beating me. That connection does not exist in this part of the state.
Well, maybe someday. Up here, up north, we'll get it. Let's give a quick shout out to Cute Nix, Turbo Fish, V-Stag, the Plywood Pelican. Jeff Rowe is here. Oh, did you notice that Jeff Rowe changed his avatar? I'm going to keep pointing that out. If you can see him in there. If you can
Now I
see
gotta
Jeff
see
Rowe, go up. So his avatar is the one with the black and white with the guy with the beard and the ball cap.
Yeah.
He changed it, so now... Oh, there it is, right there. Down, right there. Up, right there.
Oh, it's Christmas.
He put a Christmas
Yeah,
hat on,
yeah,
that
yeah.
Santa hat, which is pretty dope. I
like
dig
it.
that.
I like it.
Sam Brown is here, Nisi of the North. How you doing? Wushu Jimmy Brown is here. I feel reassured now that Frank is once again first to the chat. Order has been restored to the world. That's right. Wyatt Ward is here. Big Pedro, the Turtle Girl. Let's see. And then it's just a bunch of people replicating, right? Oh, Candy Overhauls, Jim Meeker, what's up? Fishhead2925, Jay's Aquatics. And if I missed you, Carson Anderson, there you are. And a couple other people. If I missed you, it's not on purpose. It's just I don't know how to read very well today. I got hit in the head. And can't read so good now. But happy to be back live with you guys today, and we have kind of a loosey-goosey topic. We're actually going to be talking about some of the things that people would be looking for in a fish meetup or a fish, not necessarily a convention, but some of the ins and outs of, like, let's say Corey, Jimmy, and myself hopped in a bus. Just because to make it funnier.
We make it a traveling road act.
Yeah, we got in one of those like hippie-style buses with tie-dye all over the side and like flowers and stuff. And then we like went hippie child.
You can artsy it.
Driving down the road, right? Mm-hmm. And we came to your town. What would you kind of be looking for as far as like, as far as a meetup goes or whatever? Or is it maybe just better for us to try and go to like just conventions like the Aquatic Experience or MACNA or any of those kinds of things?
Because I've done it a little bit. So I've got perspective of when there's no plan and it's just like we land somewhere and we're like, hey guys, let's meet up. It's crazy awkward because you don't know where to meet up. I don't know where the good place to meet up is. 3, people show up and they're like, all right, so what are we doing? And I don't have a plan. So I was thinking of a couple things. Either one, like it's like we rent like a hotel thing or something like that, and we like give a talk or a presentation or like something like that, like where we're presenting. So there's like that aspect, and then there's like we just go to a fish convention, and then we're like, yeah, we're there. By the way, we'll do like we did at Chicago, where we go out to eat and that kind of stuff. But I know there's got to be other cool stuff to do. Like it was kind of fun to go to the movies with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
That was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Eating's fun.
Eating is always good.
I would say so far, public aquariums with other people, not fun.
Right.
Because it's pretty much better the less people that are there. So.
Right. The more people that are at the aquarium, the more difficult it is to enjoy the aquarium realistically. Like, if I'm out of town and I'm going to go to an aquarium or something like that, I want to try to go on like a Tuesday.
Ooh, I know what I want to do. I want to do like a barbecue or something.
A barbecue would be cool.
But someone's got to like ante up their place.
Right. Somebody would have to like throw a barbecue. And then we wouldn't really have necessarily a lead in whether or not they actually know how to make barbecue or not. Because you could be like, I'm Stevie McSteverson from Steverson, like North Dakota.
What if it was barbecue potluck?
And he's like, I'm really good at barbecuing, but we don't know anybody else that knows him, and maybe they're terrible at barbecue.
Yeah, but what if it's like a potluck and a barbecue? So like even if you're like, turns out dude can't put a hot dog on a grill, but at least there's potato salad over there.
At least there's some cold potato salad.
Yeah.
That people could eat.
So I'm just trying to think of a way it stays cheap. And like, so we barbecue, people drive there. I do like the talk or an auction tour, which that's pretty much what I do when people pay to fly me in. So I'm pretty much doing that. Although no one ever has me be an auctioneer. And I'm just going to say this. I think I'd be a really, really good auctioneer because I know the price and I know most items like the back of my hand.
Right.
And I watch like auctioneers struggle like, yeah, this thing here, it says it's a plant, and I'm just like, well, that's not doing that beautiful land or justice.
Yeah. 2 plants in 1 bag. We've also got a plastic bag and some water.
Yeah. Because you always get the specialists. Either the guy's like a plant guy or he's a fish guy, but he might only be an African cichlid guy and not, and I've got just enough in each realm to get dangerous.
Right.
But not any real in-depth like, oh yeah, that is skeletal king Buse. This one's been misidentified in the bag, I can tell.
Right. Yeah. Let's see. I missed who it was. Somebody, I didn't remember exactly who it was. There was trying to roll back the chat here a little bit.
Roll it back.
Somebody was asking if I am in the South End, if I'm a South End guy. And my apologies for not remembering your name. Yes, I am a South End guy, and Corey is a North End guy. So we pretty much got Washington locked down. Good luck. You're going to have to move to Spokane or something. Right?
Starting our own event is crazy talk.
Yeah, no, I don't
usually
think...
need at least $50,000.
No, I don't think we'd be able to start our own event. I've thrown so many events. I know exactly.
Like a real event.
We could
have like a
events.
lunch and that could be done for $5,000. But
I've
like
th-
an event, a 3-day thing, crazy tough.
All right, I've thrown a lot of events not of my money. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I've thrown a lot of weddings.
And what do you think it takes? Like $50,000 to do
like
a 3-day event?
big meetings and stuff like that. Easily $50,000. $50,000 is like boom. That'll
Because
fly
I know
right out
when
the
our
window.
club is looking at hosting some big event, like, oh yeah, let's bring the AGA or something like that. Like those are the numbers that are thrown around of like, yes, it makes money, but someone's also got to front that money.
Right,
And a lot
and
of
that-
conventions actually lose money.
That's the thing that I don't want to get involved in necessarily, because then it turns into, well, how do we recoup? How do we make money? We got to make money because we spent a bunch of money. So that's really
And spend
that's
6
the
months
side
planning.
Yeah, that's the
Like-
side that I wouldn't necessarily want to get. If the idea was, okay, we're coming through Oklahoma City or something, and we're going to
Yeah.
be there for 2 days or 3 days or 2 days or whatever, and say that we're cruising through there, and there's 300 people that want to meet up with us in Oklahoma
I
City.
can't imagine it's 300.
I'm just throwing
All right.
spitballing numbers.
At least
You never know.
30,000.
Maybe there's a
At
lot of
least
people
30,000.
in Oklahoma City
Could be.
that like, stuff.
The average that I see that come to an event and that kind of stuff that are like fans of me, like I would say it's like 30. Aquatic Experience was way more, but like just when
Yeah.
you're like, hey, I'm in California, or I'm in blah blah blah, there's like 30 people. But I think if we did publicize it enough, that number would grow. But I know like Rachel O'Leary, she does like a camp out thing where they roast a whole pig and then there's a camp out thing, that type of thing. And I think the crowdsourcing part is the important part. Like, yeah, if everyone brings a dish and something to drink and we all show up at this person who has a spot, because there's going to be a lot of people that either A, have a ton of property, or B, is like, oh man, I have access to my church on a Saturday or something like that, some communal space. If they want to step up and be like, yeah, let's do this, I think we can crowdsource the rest.
Right. I mean, that could be doable. It's also one of those things that like I wouldn't necessarily want to like that camp out thing. It's like she has all those people camp out like in her front yard or something. It's something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which
I mean,
is
she's got
then
property.
you could end up with the potential Woodstock on your hands where you've got
Yeah.
way too many people on your
True.
front lawn.
That'd be like a pre-register thing type of deal.
Right. And then not necessarily like my house or your house, but let's say we did a camp out thing at somebody's house in like Oregon, and then all of a sudden like a bunch of people's
Ooh.
or like somebody's house got
Can we just
trashed
do a campground?
well, it's like if somebody's house got trashed for some reason, then there could be a problem. But as you said though just now, like a campground, like maybe a KOA.
I don't know
Because
what that
KOA,
means.
well, KOA's like that's car camping. So you like pull up in your
Okay.
car. They have like a laundry place there. They have showers. It's not
Okay.
with air quotes camping necessarily,
couldn't set
you
up a
sleep in
tent?
a tent. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you can sleep in a tent. You could have an RV. You can sleep in your car, whatever you want to
Alright.
do. But they have like public showers, and they
See,
have
I
like
think
a
that
little
we're onto something. We
Yeah.
go, oh yeah, this weekend.
and the
you know.
KOA because you can book it online and all that kind of stuff ahead of time and know what's going
Does
on.
everyone gotta like how much is it?
The KOA is pretty cheap, but it's not the cheapest of the camping. I mean, some of them are $20 a night. Some of them are $30 a night. It just depends on the area that they're in, like, popularity wise or whatever.
Yeah.
And then if you have like an RV,
Because that sounds rad. Because one of my most favorite things is sitting around a campfire. No joke.
yeah,
Like I feel like you really get to know someone too. So if like we're all just eating camping food around a campfire for 2 or 3 days, I think that's some real bonding. I think it'd be fun, and it'd be something different. Like we should do that. Like this is why we do this, because we would never come up with this on our own.
we never would have just spitballed it while we were out
We
there.
should go camping and then like reserve the thing and be like, all right, August 12th or whatever that's going to be through the 15th, we're going to be here. Book your thing if you want to attend this. I think we need to do something like that.
Right.
And we just pick somewhere. Like, yeah, it could be Oregon, like Candy Overhaul's saying, or it could be like, sweet man, Wyoming, or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I'm willing to drive.
Yeah, I'm willing to drive Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado.
Yeah.
I'm willing to make that drive. Oregon, California. I mean, I don't know that I would drive per se to Kentucky because that's
I mean, I've
a
done
lot
it.
of driving.
I
I would
did
do
last
it.
month,
I would certainly
Wait,
do it, but
2 months ago.
you know, I'm not afraid to do that drive. But it's just that's really start putting aside a lot of time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it would also be pretty cool, like if you could stop off for 2 days, like if you did like 2 days in Idaho, and then 2 days in Montana.
So
like
far,
you
my
drove like
logic that I've run into, it's really hard to coordinate that.
Well, yeah.
When you're let me quantify that, I guess. When you're the thing people want to come visit, if you're late, you're ruining a lot of people's time. So you're like, well, how was I know there's a semi overturned and now I'm a day late? And by the way, we're only here for 2 days and then I'm out. And you guys, so I think we should bite off like 1, 2 or 3 day weekend in one location and see how it goes.
Right.
Well,
no,
I
I wasn't saying necessarily like let's plan it right now. 16 stop tour. You know what
I'm
I
like,
mean?
that's
I
a
wasn't
lot of
saying that.
weekends. Like,
But-
oh, okay.
But you can easily drive to Idaho, for a Saturday Sunday thing, and then drive back or any of that kind of stuff, or all that kind of things.
Can you do
And,
a Canada trip?
I'm getting closer and closer to being able to go to Canada. I'm getting close.
Because Jimmy can't go either.
I'm getting close.
Jimmy
As
can't
far
go
as I
either.
know, it's just a paperwork thing now.
Okay.
That like they're like, hey, you got to give us $20 and then we'll file the paperwork.
Because I can go
And
to
then
Canada,
go get your
but
passport.
It's a kind of a logistical nightmare.
So I'm working on getting a new passport anyhow because my old passport expired, so I have to go get a new passport, and then I'll be good to go at that point in time, as far as I know.
Yeah. So we could definitely pick somewhere. And Candy's saying, like, so the contact person in the state helps set it all up. I think that's for sure a given. Like, someone that knows 100% I'm going and can be, like, a help lead contact on that. Like, we can be like, yeah, we're going.
Like,
but,
for instance, if somebody set up a weekend in Butte, Montana, I would go to that. Because Butte, Montana is one of my favorite towns to just go to. So I would go to Butte, Montana. Bozeman also. I'm just thinking of the I-90. The I-90 stops on Montana. Like and those are kind of like in the middle,
Well, right.
that
Like
kinda
someone said,
area, for
Idaho
instance.
is not far enough in the center. And part of the problem is no matter where we pick, there will be X amount of people disappointed.
Right.
That's just, what we can do is go, all right, if we're in Idaho, next year we're in, Chicago, or like Illinois, like somewhere else, like the other side somewhere. But it also, so we need to treat this like a convention would. And so what they do is they go, all right, great, submit your bid. And so you'd have to be like, okay, I'm willing to do some work. And here's the amenities. Like, oh, this camping spot's got 700 spots. And typically, it's wide open in July or August or whatever that day is. Because it might be, like, oh, yeah, it's rad, except it's ultra booked. That doesn't help either.
Right. So, yeah, like we couldn't, for instance, do like the 4th of July weekend because that's like.
Although that sounds amazing. I love fireworks.
Well, yeah. I mean,
but it's probably too warm and hot. Stuff will burn.
It's good times.
Yeah.
4th of July is great times. Yeah. Let's just be honest. That's just good times. But like we couldn't do like, oh, hey, the 4th of July weekend because everything's booked like already.
And people can't get the time off.
And people can't get the time.
We need to be like, yeah.
Yeah, so we'd be doing stuff like May Day, What's that? May 1st
I feel like that's
or something.
too cold. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a real wiener when it comes to camping. Camping to me,
if it's cold out,
needs to be a shower.
If it's cold out,
there.
you just have to build a bigger campfire.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that being said, we would want to pick something that's the most accommodating possible. So like bathrooms, ample tent space.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like the KOA would be good because they have bathrooms, they have or like state parks. There's a lot of state parks that have full bathroom facilities. In case you got a number 2 in the middle of the night and you don't have to like fight off a rabid posse of raccoons or anything
Yeah.
like that. You know, you just go to the restroom and that kind of stuff. And then a lot of the state parks actually have showers too. Although I will admit they have those like sprayers on them that feel like you're getting shot by a pressure washer. Have you ever felt that? It somehow
I've not had the pleasure of that.
it somehow makes the water feel like it's BBs hitting you, you know, and you're like, "Oh, sweet Jesus." You know what I'm talking about, Jim, right? No? What the Very helpful. But yeah, something about those showers, it turns the water and it feels like somebody's throwing BBs at you. It's very odd. That's really kind of the only downside. Plus, you got to have flip flops because you don't want to get that foot fungus.
So what about the other thing I'm thinking about here? Let's say this is all assuming everyone's driving. Is there such a camping facility and a way to make this happen so that people could fly in? Like, let's say there's a KOA thing, right? And I still don't even know what that stands for, but let's just pretend I do. Is there ones where like, oh, sweet, I could just rent a cabin at the same property or something like that? Because otherwise, you got to have like a buddy system of like, hey, can you hold my tent till next year? You know?
Oh, yeah, like if people were flying in.
Because like, let's say you live in Florida and
Now
you're like,
that-
dang.
See, that's
Ugh.
something that like I could source at like, for instance, like Mount Rainier. Because like, you know, I'm from here. I could find that stuff, but I couldn't figure that out like if we were going to...
Right, that's why we need a contact person.
Right. Like let's say we were going to Nevada or something. It's like I wouldn't even know where to start looking to book something like that. You know what I mean? I'd just be like, cabin? Oh.
Right.
And then things would be really weird.
Yeah, but I do think there's going to be a portion of people that would want to attend that can't drive for work reasons. Like, well, it's 3 days there, then we're there for 2 or 3 days, and then it's 3 days back. Like, they might not be able to get that off, but they could fly in maybe.
Yeah, that somebody could...
But we wouldn't want all cabins. Like Flynn saying, you want cabins? I got cabins. We want it to be ultra cheap, but then flexible as much as possible. Like, obviously, there's going to be give and takes everywhere.
Right. Yeah, so that is kind of weird. Because then we'd almost... I don't know. Because then you'd have to start thinking about, like, maybe resort areas or whatever.
But then isn't it going to be like, oh, yeah, each person's $175 a night? And
Yeah,
then
that's problematic. Yeah.
Like, I would much rather, instead of coming seeing us two fish nerds, go spend that $500 on some rad aquarium thing.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because you'd be like, oh, I could go spend $800 this weekend, or I could go buy a brand new 120-gallon acrylic tank for $800 and then start setting that thing
I
up.
want it to be ultra cheap. I want
So
it
I'd
to
rather
be
be
like
into that.
per car full.
But I was saying,
people.
like, if we were at a state park, then people could just show up for free. Like, they could come during the day and just park in the normal
oh, for
parking
sure.
area and then come to the walk-in, like the picnic tables and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
because then
for
it would be
sure.
like, let's say we went to the state park, like in Wenatchee, or the one in between Chelan and Wenatchee, right? Which, if anybody's out there, they'll be going, what's a Chelan? What's a Wenatchee? Well, it's in the middle of Washington, which is, you go over the mountain range. It's a really beautiful area. It's on the big river there and all that kind of stuff. But that would be like a perfect example that there's all these campsites, right, where you can camp in a tent, park your car, all that kind of stuff. But they also have a big parking area that, like, say if you're just a day visitor to it, because it's a state park, and you just come and park, and then you just walk in, and there's like picnic tables and all that kind of stuff. So that was kind of one of the things I started thinking about the state park, because it also has restrooms. It also has like shower. Some of them have showers, not all of them for sure. But and then because it's a state park, I think it's only like $10 a night, or I think no, it went up to 14, right? State parks.
I know national parks just went up. I don't know about state parks.
I think state parks went up too. I think it's like $14 or $12 a night now.
But yeah, so
Which is affordable. I mean, if you think about it.
Jay was saying his campground's got $80 for a cabin a night. That seems doable. Like, if time is money for you, flying in and then renting a cabin for 2 nights. And then there's also, what would you just snap?
Some electrical tape.
Oh, okay. I was over there. I
Just
he's like mortified.
fidgeting.
I was like, what just broke over there in my desk?
My electrical tape. So sad now.
You know, because there will be people, like, I want it to be like more of a, I don't want to call it a couples thing, but like, I'd like to bring my wife.
Right.
And you'd probably want to bring Vicky.
Yeah.
And there's always sometimes one of the two people that like, I want a cabin. I don't want to be sleeping on the ground or whatever, you know? So I think cabins are a must accommodation, so people could fly in. I mean, we could be like accommodating for only one person that's ever going to do that, but
Right.
maybe we'll lead or not lead. We'll give some weight to that. Like the more accommodations that we can check off the wide ruled paper we're planning this whole thing out on.
Yeah. I think we should probably put it on a piece of paper or something, right?
Yeah, make a list and then be like, all right, oh yeah, you checked 7 out of 8 boxes.
I'm probably gonna.
Okay.
I'll probably carve it into a stone. Feels
All right.
more my style,
All
you
right.
know, like a slab of slate.
Mhm.
You know, start chipping it in there with a chisel and a hammer, right?
Yeah.
No, but I honestly, I think as we've gone along here, I think maybe the state park would probably be. I think it's in that middle ground. Like, it's not free to stay at night, but it is well maintained because it's state or federal, right? They're generally well maintained. They're at least like mowed, and they take out the garbage and that kind of stuff. And they normally have fire pits, which is very helpful. And then more often than not, they normally have like a day use area so people could come for free. And then normally where a state park is, there's normally like cabins or even like a cheap hotel. Accommodations that are fairly near. So like maybe if somebody came in and they were like, look, I can't just be sleeping on the ground like a hillbilly.
Right, and maybe
It's
there's
like I can't be like Joel over there just sleeping
Yeah.
in the
I mean,
dirt.
there could be people that need like medical equipment, all that kind of stuff. And so the
Right.
goal is like, I do think that camping, and at least during the day, we're all around a campfire and all that kind of stuff, with accommodations to retreat to appropriate quarters to accommodate the most people possible.
Yeah.
And not like, I'm not saying like thousands of people. I'm just saying like, oh, this person has to have a cabin. That person has to have a hotel. That person can sleep on the ground. That person, that type of thing.
Right. Yeah. No, I think I'm with that.
With
Definitely
the strong logic of, we're guessing most everyone's gonna be a freak like us and drive there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually a good idea. Candy Overhauls is saying, so an option could be you could rent RVs if the cabin thing isn't readily available. Not sure of the cost, but cabins can be spendy also.
Yeah,
That's kind of a good
I've
point.
never done that, so I have no idea.
I've never rented one of the like RV America. I don't know if
Yeah.
you've ever seen those. You see,
Oh,
I'm
I
sure
see
you've
them
seen them
driving
while you're
around.
driving around. Yeah, I've seen so many of them.
I always assume the gas mileage, but if you're only driving like 4 miles down the street,
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's got to be
gotcha.
at least reasonable because so many people are using them, right? I mean, so many. I mean, whenever I'm driving around on road trips,
Families are
I'm like, there's
definitely
one,
doing it,
there's
yeah.
one, there's one. I see so many of them. It's got to be at least kind of reasonable.
so fishing is not taboo at the nerd camp. I've done fish nerd camps before. Our club does them, and there's always really good fishermen that go catch like fresh fish, and then part of dinner is like, you don't have to eat fish, but there's always like fresh. Oh yeah, we caught it an hour ago fish, because we have lots of salmon and all that kind of stuff. So you can definitely get wicked good fish, and then like, oh yeah, there's hot dogs and hamburgers and chips and dips and all that kind of stuff, and everyone just shares stuff. And I do think, I'm just gonna put this out there. I do think it would have to be drug free. I'm on the fence with alcohol, because one of those things like, whenever you're in charge, you're like, wait, so I'm the guy that's signing off on this deal, and we've got what going on? What kind of shenanigans?
Yeah. Well,
Because it could be like,
I
okay,
think-
great,
I
go
think-
to the bar and drink or
I
whatever.
think federal.
but not,
I think federal parks, national parks, you're not supposed to have alcohol at them anyhow. Like they're like, don't have liquor here.
yeah,
Is kind of the thing. So I think that would be easy to maintain because you just go like, hey, what are these guys' rules? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, there's the posted rules right there. Then for me, it's hands off. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's kind of like, hey, you're at your own risk right now because that's
well, I
Hey,
would
that's
go
already-
more so to even be like just discouraging and be like,
Right.
look, they're not cool with it, and I'm not cool with it. So
Right.
like, if you're drinking, you're not at this campground.
right.
Like, we don't want to be roped into this.
Like, yeah,
shenanigans.
that's not my deal. And if
Mm-hmm.
it's like, it's like if somebody's drinking at the preschool, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if somebody's drinking beer at the preschool, it's like, that's not good here. Because, I mean, maybe there's not a sign, but it's not like what you're supposed to, you know what I mean? So I think
Yeah.
I would stick to that kind of situation. I think that, like, if people, if people were interested in that kind of, like, nighttime stuff or anything like that, they could probably go figure that out on their own, honestly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I would just say same thing. You know, it's like, oh yeah, if we're smoking, it's all done over there. Because whenever you bring a big group of people together, personalities clash,
yeah,
preferences clash, and so sorting that kind of stuff out, I think is important.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah,
yeah.
I think we could come to something. If you guys are actually interested, start emailing us, and we'll. You know, it's a long ways away, but if we don't start planning, it just won't happen.
Yeah, it's a long ways off, and that's why we kind of wanted to start thinking about it, because it's like, look, we got Thanksgiving coming up, and then it's like, wait a minute, the New Year's going to be here, right? That's going to be here very soon. And then, oh, wait, you know, then it's like, oh, well, now it's March, and wait a minute, what are we going to figure out? Because summer's coming, and then stuff's already starting to book up. So that was kind of like our thought process, like maybe what's at least the avenue we want to go down? What's at least some people send in some, you know, if some people send in some comments or emails or that kind of stuff, like maybe if you could go to the Patreon, is a great place. The community tab on Patreon is a great place to post up stuff, and then other people could chime in to go like, hey, I'm in Oregon also, like, hey, I want to go to that. The Patreon's
That's another
a great
thing
place.
we should do. Like, I don't know how many options we can have on a poll, like on YouTube or something like that, but we could poll and be like, 1, would you go? 2, here's the 4 locations. Which one is best for you? And then we go off of stats.
Right, and then we could almost just ooh, I know how we could do that too. I know how we could do that, because if let's say we just get a map and we draw a circle of like a 700-mile radius or something, whatever the radius is, like 600 miles takes us 10 hours to drive there, right? 600-mile radius, where are some of the spots inside there? And then just we'll pick 4 that are kind of equally spaced apart or something like that. I don't know.
But you also got the person to champion it. So, like, if only one person says, like, I'm willing to do the work, and you're in Oregon, guess what? We're going to Oregon.
Right. Just
like,
let's go hang
you
out in
know,
Oregon.
that's kind of one of those things.
Yeah.
So,
there are some cool. I will say there are some cool aquariums in Oregon for sure. What's the one that comes to mind? It's like in Newport. Have you been to the one in Newport?
no,
That
I
one's
don't go
pretty cool.
anywhere.
We got to go to that one. That one's good.
But yeah, it's one of those things, like someone said, depends on who's there, you know, if they know when to stop drinking. That's the problem, though. Invite 100 people you've never met, and I guarantee you one of them doesn't know when to stop drinking. Like, that's a random group of people there's no control over, and that's what's going to be there. Like, yeah, we know each other in chat, but we don't know who's a weirdo, who's super cool, who, you know, can hold their liquor, who can do that,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So it's,
I mean,
you
that's
just kind of
just
got to put the kibosh on all of it.
Right. That's just kind of the reality, is that, like, hey, if this I would say that whatever we're doing is a family friendly affair. Mm-hmm. So if you wouldn't do it if your 8-year-old was there, or, you know, or not even your 8-year-old, someone else's 8-year-old was around.
Yeah, everyone's got different standards, so we will just have to set the standards.
Yeah, so it would just be like, hey, this is. Just imagine, like, if it's family friendly, like kids were there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just the way that I would go with it. Mainly just because it's like, look, I'm not a cop. I'm not a security officer. I'm not your mom. I'm not any of those things. I'm just somebody that would be coming to have a good time. And the last thing I want to do is have to, like, act like somebody's dad and be or whatever and be like, no, you're doing bad stuff. You know, that's not what I'm about, and that doesn't feel like a good time. So I would think if we were to go about that, I would just go about it in the way of, like, this is a family event, not a let's go party weekend. You know what I mean? It's like somebody mentioned that there was a party boat, I think. It was a fish keepers cruise being organized, which would be great for you guys that would love to go on that kind of thing. I personally wouldn't want to go on that. I wouldn't necessarily want to be on a cruise with a whole bunch of people, like, getting hammered and stuff like that on a boat, you know. But
one guy says, you are talking about fishers, you know that, right?
Right.
Yes. Have you been to conventions? Lots of people fall down drunk and get very inappropriate, and it's not a good situation. That's why there's certain conventions I just straight up avoid, because that's the reputation and that's what goes down.
Right. There's a lot of people that get in that this is my weekend.
Yeah, I'm here to party.
Yeah, I'm here to partay, you know.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I'm not against people doing that. I'm, you know,
It's not my scene.
It's just, yeah. I mean, the last thing I want to do is be awake at 2:00 in the morning because somebody's yelling and screaming and having problems and this and that. And it's like I said, I'm not a cop, so I'm not exactly going to get paid for dealing with stuff at 2:00 in the morning, you know. And what I would consider a volunteer problem situation, you know what I mean? It's like you volunteered for this problem, and yet now everyone else has to deal with it. So, that's the kind of thing I would just look at it like it's a family event. Like you're having a family, you know, it's like this is a family get together with, or I mean, I don't know if family event is the right word.
I think what I'm envisioning, because someone else said like, well, you can rent a convention center room at a hotel and stuff like that. Yes, we can, but then it becomes what's the entertainment?
Right.
That's the problem. It's like, okay, so now we've got people in and we got to entertain them for 3 days.
Right.
I'm thinking more family reunion style, like food. People are sitting down at picnic tables. We're having fun.
Having a
There's
good time.
There's a beanbag toss. There's some frisbee going on. There's,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of stuff, and that kind of happens for 2 or 3 days, and people come and go as they wish, and then it's over. Because otherwise,
Yeah.
then it's like, yeah. So what are we doing? It's 10 a.m.
Right.
Like,
right.
You know.
And you know, it's one of those things. Like I'd be happy to do. You know, me personally, I would be happy to do some live podcast. Some live shows.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, even if you did the longest one, it would...
it's an 8-hour thing.
It would
Great.
only occupy, like, even if you did the longest one, it would really... Yeah, like you said, 8 hours.
And
I mean, I don't know who...
Two and a half days more of content, please.
Yeah, you would need more content. Yeah, so, like, you know, even if you did, like, a 4-hour podcast, which is a long podcast, by the way. That is a long show to do. That realistically, you know, you still have 12 hours in the day to try and like occupy people's time. So it's like, you know, even when we were at the aquatic experience, there was how many booths were there? Like, let's just say at least 100 booths to look at.
At least, yeah.
Right. Even with 100 booths, there were some people I saw that came for 3 hours and they were like, yeah, I'm kind of tired. We're going to head out now. And you're like, oh yeah, you've been here for 3 hours, you know? So, and that was a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and that was with a lot of stuff, let alone, you know, it's like, I don't know. So if we, and then also if we did the convention center thing, then that also brings us back to the, you know, we would have to like rent that room and that's not free.
That's all assuming it could have been cheap enough. But even if that, the money aspect works, I'm afraid of so what are we doing now, Joel?
Right.
You know,
Right.
I don't know. Whereas I feel like camping,
I heard there's cotton candy.
Everyone knows when you go camping, you're like, so what are we doing? We're camping. We're sitting here.
Yeah,
that's what we do.
Or we're gonna go for a hike for a couple hours. We're gonna go for a walk around this lake or something that we've never been to or whatever, and like, go check that stuff out.
So Geach, we're talking about possibly a camping trip for fish nerds. Famous Jones says a North versus South volleyball game. I actually love to play volleyball. And that brings up another thing. It's like everyone can bring like, sweet, who's bringing the badminton set? Who's bringing a volleyball net? Like if there's enough people, I totally love to play that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I would do that all day long. Of course, no matter what weekend we plan, it's going to rain the entire time. Just know that ahead of time, because I just know I'll get rained on.
It's just gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dogs allowed. That's a good question. So on one hand, you're like, yes. And then on the other hand, you're like, oh, that guy brought us 37 dogs that are out of control.
Right.
You know, so it's like...
But, yeah, I mean, that still falls within the state park guideline stuff, that your dog's supposed to be on a leash. You have to pay attention to your dog.
I think at the right venue. So, like, if everyone has, like, their own camping space or something like that, like, I don't know how that's going to work, but you could be like, yeah, your dog's out of control.
Well, it's like if you go to a
put
state...
it in the tent.
Like, if you go to a state campground...
Yeah.
Almost every camp has a dog at it.
Yeah.
Almost every single one. And yet you don't see a lot of problems because most people keep their dog on a leash. They'll have like a dog run. You know, my dog can run this area.
Yeah, my only worry is that like
wild,
we're gonna have one campground with 60 people in it and 17 dogs, and then they're gonna split up and go back to their tents at night. You know, I'm just going, in a big group, are dogs a problem? You know, like I wouldn't bring my dogs because my dogs would just bark at people the whole time and try to protect me and their little chihuahuas. So I wouldn't bring them.
I bring my dogs. I bring the Mr. Chipperton and the Bitty Browns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that's if that's something you want to do, it just changes the way you're at the event. So you probably wouldn't go on a hike, or if you did, you or Vicky probably have to stay back. You probably wouldn't just be like, just throw the dogs in the tent; they'll be fine for 6 hours.
Oh no, we take them on a hike.
All right.
Yeah. Took our dogs hiking all the time. Well, we haven't been hiking recently, but you know what I mean. We take them with us when we go.
All right.
They're getting old, so sometimes I have to carry them back down. They're like, I'm tired now. You're like, I get it, but luckily they're I mean, Biddy's only like 18 pounds and Chip's like 15 pounds, so it's like that's not bad. It's not bad to carry the two of them. They're just kind of awkward wiggle dogs,
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to get a sling for them one of these days.
Squirmy.
I gotta get a baby Bjorn for the dogs.
We were talking about that 2 days ago, actually, for our dogs. Little baby Bjorn.
And
So
somebody
sassy.
asked me if I ever have a baby, am I gonna wear a baby around on a baby Bjorn? And I guarantee you,
Why
yes.
wouldn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna strap that thing to my back and like do roofing all day,
Yeah.
right?
It's called bonding.
It's bonding.
Yeah.
It's father-daughter bonding.
You're supposed to baby Bjorn your baby while you do bondo. It's bonding.
Right. But if you wanted to go hiking, you couldn't because a lot of places are off limits to dogs. Wyatt, a lot of trails these days are not off limits to dogs. They're off limits to off leash dogs, that they want to keep your dog on a leash. And then occasionally some trails that are way popular. Typically the way like really heavily used trails are they don't have dogs there allowed on trails anymore, mainly just because of the overusage of the trail and stuff, not necessarily about the dogs. But most either federal or state trail system stuff, you can have your dog there. You can have your dog out there, but it's normally like advised whether or not you should have a leash or not in the area. So it's not that bad to bring your dogs. We bring Biddy. We've taken Biddy. We took her to Colorado. We took her to Montana. We took her to Idaho.
around.
All over the place. She's been up a bunch of peaks with us. Pick her up and hang her up there like Lion King at the top of the mountain.
Simba. Is
Yeah.
that who does it? I don't know.
I forget who it is. Is it Simba? I don't know. It's from the
It
Lion
sounds
King.
right, but I have no idea.
It's like the I don't even know how to sing it. I don't know the song. I should learn the song before I
you
start
should make
saying
that
it.
your intro.
Right?
You should make
Yeah.
your own version of it.
Make my own,
Yep.
or
And
just
then
a
That's your
Hakuna
intro
Matata.
to the show now. It's just you doing that with Biddy to like your own homemade music like that.
That'd be good. I'll put that
Yeah.
together at some point.
You should.
Yeah.
But no, I think that could work. We could do just follow the campground rules and then embellish them a little bit of like, yeah, all right, no alcohol, just because I'll say this. If there's alcohol around, I will not be able to enjoy myself. I'm going to say that right now because I already know, being a guy that's kind of like, well, you kind of help put this on, I'll be constantly just like, oh my God, what's that person doing? What's that person doing? Oh yeah, what are they doing now?
Oh.
So it'll ruin it for me.
Are we back on that again? How did we get back there? Oh,
I
did
just
somebody
brought it back.
somebody asking?
No,
again?
I'm just saying that, like, yeah, we'll just follow the rules, except for we'll have to embellish a couple that make my life not horrible.
Right. I would just consider it like a family-friendly event. This is PG rated, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
It's pretty. Yeah, I think we've got at least a good idea. I think now.
Find a place, bring your own entertainment, bring your own food, and yeah, like the board game idea. Sure, bring a board game. I have a feeling there's gonna be just a lot of like, yep, look at all these tables. Oh, they're playing poker over there. Oh, they're playing bridge. Oh, they're playing a board game. Oh, they're just eating. That's where Corey's at.
And lawn darts are illegal. Remember that.
Yeah.
So bring your horseshoes instead.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lawn darts are illegal because you can take an eye out, but a horseshoe,
Take
you
out
just
2 eyes.
straight up murder him.
True.
You could
All
commit
right.
a murder.
So I think we've nailed that down. Submit your bid for we got to come up with a cool name. Like,
Oh, Famous Jones is asking BYOB? It's BYOBBQ, actually.
Yes.
It's bring your own barbecue. Yeah.
yeah.
That's the smart play to go with. Candy Overhauls is asking, off topic, but a silly Aquarium Co-op Corvus commercial shot by Jimmy, of course, since Aquarium Co-op is the official sponsor.
We've talked about doing some commercial work and stuff like that. It's in the Corey's got to get back from out of town. We got to catch up on building the new studio, like all that kind of wheelhouse. Meanwhile, I'm buying a new camera, all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of stuff to like,
That's right. I mean, there's
get
even
in
the
line.
logistics of the new camera that you guys are going to run that Jimmy's going to have to screw around with. There's going to be a lot of work with that new camera and all that kind of stuff. So some of those things are in the works for sure, as far as possible commercial stuff, this and that. Making more videos, of course, is always in the it's always in the to-do list.
I've
right?
got my to-do list keeps getting longer. It's
Yeah.
like someone asked me like, when are we gonna get more videos of the 125? Well, it's mostly when I get some time. Like literally the next week is gonna be a blur. Every day. Well, like today and tomorrow, we're working on the studio. Then once Joel goes home, I'm gonna try to catch up on ordering stuff and getting ready for Thursday live stream, which is an 8-hour live stream, which let me tell you, that takes a lot of coordination and work. And then we have to coordinate all the employees, get everything shipped out. And then there's Black Friday, which I got to be in the store for Black Friday to do that event. And then I actually fly out Saturday morning, but that's also Small Business Saturday. So my employees will all be doing all that. So there's that going on.
Yeah.
And then they got to basically hold down the fort until I get back, like 8 or 9 days later. Then new internet gets installed. We catch up on the podcasts. We catch up on filming. And then I think I can install something in those 125s. So like I'm bare minimum 2.5 weeks out. Bare minimum. And that's assuming nothing comes up between now and then.
Yeah.
So
I will say this on the internet, that I'm probably going to come up here and at least lend a helping hand when it comes time to put all those 125s together.
sure.
Yes. You're probably going to be scrambling around like a maniac to get all those going, because that's going to be a lot of tanks. That's going to be a lot of tanks to move around and do all that kind of stuff. So, but needless to say, anybody that's worried about that situation, I will tell you that personally, he is concerned about getting those things going. That is definitely on the thing. But as far as projects ongoing, Candy Overhaul's posted in the chat here. Check out the Patreon. The Patreon is how we're trying to essentially crowdsource bigger and better, badder projects. Like the more projects we're going to get going, you guys will notice some improvements / minor technical difficulties in the studio at my place, which is just the ongoing learning curve of like, what's this thing? It's not going in the hole properly. This plug is backwards, But we'll getting that stuff going. I did pony up to get a new camera, so we actually will be going more HD, bigger HD. So from like a lowercase HD to a capitalized HD, right? Something like that. So we'll be that stuff's coming along, and there also is a lot of good stuff coming on as far as like scaping the 240. That's going to keep going. And
Yeah, you picked up some stuff for that today.
yeah, so we're definitely got a lot of projects coming up. So I'm pretty enthusiastic that we got a bunch of things going on. But as I've mentioned in the past, with the Patreon community tab is a great way to post stuff up, and not necessarily like it's like this is the best way to get a response, but it is in my opinion, it's one of the best spots to realistically kind of have a cohesive readout of stuff like that. Jim Meeker posted today, I finally got around to setting up the first shrimp breeding tank, which is a 10-gallon with Eco Complete, filter, Swiss Tropical, subwasser tank from Flip Aquatics. Shout out to Flip Aquatics. He's probably going to get the shrimp from there. He also got stuff from my aquarium box over the past few months, and he's got some challah wood, right? Isn't that how you say it in there? Challah. Everybody says cholla.
It's actually
It's choya?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm told it's
I like to
choya.
say challah. like it's Jewish.
Choya.
And he's got some good stuff going on there. So that's like a perfect post from earlier today from Jim Meeker that posted up on the Patreon. And there's a cool picture on there of how the setup's coming along and stuff. So the Patreon's a great place that, like, if there's topics and things that you want to get handled. I also shot some video this morning of a little behind the scenes at the aquarium coop. If you haven't been to the aquarium coop, I'll be throwing some video up on that. It'll probably be a produced video for Thursday, because as you guys know, Thursday is Thanksgiving, which means my schedule is completely chaotic. And so just as a note to, I guess, what's the word? My subscribers out there, hope Vicky and I are going to try to make the Aquarium Co-op 8-hour stream. Which
not
actually,
the entire time, but just beyond.
Not the entire time. We're going to make a guest appearance. So you have to tune in for the whole 8-hour thing if you're trying to get...
We don't know logistical time yet.
If you're trying to catch Vicky and I. So you should at least tune in for that whole thing. And then I'll probably have a produced video of probably some of the behind-the-scenes stuff coming up... was that Thursday? Thanksgiving Day. Yeah, so on Thanksgiving Day.
I can't stop yawning. I went to bed at 1 a.m. last night, and then I had to get up to go to the airport at 6 a.m.
Corey picked up a bunch of boxes from the airport, and I will tell you, the commute today was a little bit harebrained because it was dumping
brutal
rain.
I left my house at 6:30, and a thing that should have been an hour and 15 minutes was 4 hours.
It took a while.
I didn't get to the store till 9:30, so it wasn't quite 4 hours. It was more like 3 hours, but
yeah.
It was
1 hour turns into 3.
Yeah, today I got a late start. We got what we need to get done, but that's the reality between now and when I fly out is like I'm gonna wake up extra early every day and then stay up extra late. Like tonight, I know I have to order a bunch of stuff because the cutoffs are all tonight. Because they're like, yep, we'll ship it out Tuesdays. Stuff's not really moving out on Wednesdays. Thursday we're closed. Our employees are closed on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday would be the next day at that point.
Right.
And that doesn't really work when you're trying to do a Black Friday sale. Like, we got sales. We don't have any product, but we have sales.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it does become problematic at best, right?
Yeah, so it's just a lot of long hours, and it's one of those things that me and Jimmy are literally trying to find one session where we can go film till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning just to get more videos for when I'm gone. I don't know that's going to happen. I think on our channel we're going to be missing some of the videos, but I just can't find a way to do it and do this traveling I have to do and keep the business running. So it'll be one of those like, you guys will have to, nurse yourself along on only 4 videos instead of 7 per week.
I think if that happens, I think people will be all right. I'll probably survive.
I think so.
Probably survive.
My channel won't, but people will.
Right. They'll just shut it down. Like,
me.
YouTube will just shut it down. Like, you're done.
We
Get
can
out
see
of
here you've declined by 30% in the last week. You're done.
You're done. Get out. Get out. Let the door hit you on the way out.
So I do, by the way, people are talking about nachos and tacos and things like that. I do have at least a recipe for, call it nachos or tacos or whatever you want when you're camping. It involves the snack pack size of Fritos and chili and all the fixins you could possibly want, and then you eat it with a plastic fork out of that thing, and it's kind of amazing.
Yeah, I've done quite a few campalicious moves.
You make a taco salad minus the salad, so all the good parts minus the filler. It's bliss. It's really good. So.
Miguel Camacho is asking which
Camacho.
camera.
Is it really Camacho?
Yeah, Miguel Camacho. Yeah.
That's from...
No, like President Camacho?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, he's my new hero.
And
Anyway,
Taco
keep going.
Supreme.
Camacho.
I was asking which camera were you getting in, because everyone's always excited about what cameras equipment is coming in, right?
I know what you're getting. They were asking about
Oh,
you.
which camera I'm getting in? It's actually the Logitech Brio. So
It's the one he's on right now. That's why he looks so much better than me. And we've got it turned down right now. Like he's not in 4K. He's only in 720. But you can see how much clearer and all that stuff he is compared to this camera. This camera is like a $60 camera. Still good. Most people use it. You're using it right now.
Mm-hmm.
The Brio does bring it to another level, though.
yeah.
For me, I'm getting the Sony A7R3 doesn't release till the 30th.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's right. So you have to pre-order it, and then
Yeah, I got to pre-order it, and so I think roughly with glass we're gonna be between 4,000 and 5,000 for that camera. So it'll be quite a. Well, I'm hoping it's gonna be quite an upgrade. That's the thing, is we won't know until we use it. But the footage, the sample footage I've seen that has, I won't say leaked out, but of like real photographers using it for video, because everyone thinks it's the best thing since sliced bread for photography. It's made to do photography, but it's also really dang good at video. But
right.
Where do you buy fish posters? Aquabid and eBay and Amazon. I bought them all there. Like, I know I've got shrimp posters and stuff like that. I've got some like sitting on the floor over there that are like in frames but aren't on the walls. And I want to say they run less than, about $20, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. CK was saying do an East Coast tour, then next year West Coast. I think it's easier for us to tackle the West Coast because we're already on the West Coast.
I'm going to say this. It's whoever has the best accommodation plan.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. That does make sense.
Because, like, let's just pretend for a second.
I was saying that,
like,
as far as the East Coast goes, though, it's first of all, it's a longer trip because we probably would have to fly to the East Coast realistically.
Right. But what if the club is like, hey, we want to do a whole big event. We'll fly you guys out, and then these are all the accommodations.
Oh yeah, that would be fun.
Then you're like, yes, guess what? East Coast just won.
East Coast wins.
You know, we got to do whatever makes the most sense.
I would say that yes, but my first initial thought is that the aquatic experience is in Jersey next year.
Yeah.
So I think Joycey.
Yeah.
So I think that if anybody realistically on the East Coast, but like you said, if somebody put together like a cool event, I would for sure be down to go.
Right. Yeah.
But like the aquatic experience is in Jersey, I do know I'm booking my ticket to go figure out Jersey. Joycey.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to that. Yeah.
So I think like a lot of people on the East Coast could kind of just wait.
That being
I
said,
guess. I don't know. I mean, it's like the wrong attitude to have, to go like, well, just wait and it'll show up.
Right.
But
I think, let the best event coordinator win. With whatever your state's got to offer.
Yeah.
And then, because I'm convinced camping is going to be rad. Aquatic experience is rad, but it's a way different rad.
So I have to figure out how to top. You gave everybody free shirts.
Yeah.
At the aquatic experience, I got to figure out how to top that.
If you do it at camping, you could just make everyone food, right?
Yeah, I can just make
like
everyone.
Food is amazing, and everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, it turns out, dude actually does have skills."
That just got skills cooking in the wild.
Yeah.
Oh, and we could also make a weird video of cooking in the wild too.
Yeah. Well, I kind of really want to.
Like, where do you harvest the buns?
I would love you to like barbecue an Oscar or a Pacu.
Like just barbecue one?
Yeah.
I could barbecue Pacu. You could get Pacu to eat.
Can you?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe it's available. Like in the fish market.
Like, what if we got like that and some Pangasius catfish, and like, what if we like just order those things up and be like, well,
we'd
that's
have to go,
gonna be weird for us fish nerds.
We'd have to go to like H Mart. Have you ever been to H Mart?
Yeah.
They have lots of stuff there that's live that you could find.
Yeah.
And they're easy. They're much easier to identify when you can't read the writing on there.
They also have like knife fish and stuff like that.
If they're swimming around.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I know that guy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think it could be real fun, and but I can say this 100%. It will take someone doing a lot of work to make this happen. I mean, it's not gonna be an insane amount of work, but it's not just like, well, I sent you guys an email and said to come to Montana. It's gonna be like, well, you had to link a campground, and you might actually have to drive to the campground once and just make sure, like, have you been there? Is it actually going to work?
Right.
Like, there's going to be some actual work, not just like, well, I think you should come here because I sent you an email. It's going to be like, well, you got to be our eyes and ears on this.
Did it get burned down by a forest fire? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And then we'll learn a ton.
That's a good point. And it made me kind of think about it because old Glass Box is there. Joel himself from New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if the 6 New Zealanders got together, right? If the 6 of them could get together and figure it out, they'd be able to probably put something pretty cool together. I mean, there is 6 of them,
Yeah.
right? There are 6 of them, which is a pretty significant amount of people when you think about it. 6 people in New Zealand, it might even be overcrowded.
What are the
at
odds
this
they like
point.
us though? It's pretty
But
low.
well, I mean, if there's one of them in the chat right now, that's what, 17%.
But I know Joel. Every other New Zealander hates him.
Oh, all the other 5.
Yeah. The other 5 out of 6 New Zealanders hate Aquarium Co-op.
Yeah.
Or 6 out of 5. Make it 6 out of 5.
6 out of 5.
Yeah, it's like
6 out of
it's like
5?
the dentist challenge.
It's that extra.
6 out of 5 dentists agree.
6 out of 5 dentists
Yeah.
say fluoride is bad for your brain. All right. Well, we have a timer going off here. That's
Whoa.
because we've hit the hour mark, and that means we're getting to the end of the show for Monday. So if anybody was hoping that there would be a longer show, don't worry, because we'll be back
tomorrow.
tomorrow. I love you. Tomorrow.
Leave comments what you want tomorrow to be. So if you leave a bunch of comments on this one, and anyone has a good idea, we will do it.
Yeah,
if
but
you
what's that,
don't have a good idea, we won't.
Aren't there generally rules that you have to like? Yeah, it's like you got to hit the like button, you got to hit the subscribe button, and you got to do something else too.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Right? Yeah, I don't do that either. But go ahead and
Yeah.
leave a message, and we'll be able to get on that.
Yeah, basically come up with ideas, and then we will pick one and talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah. Mystery snail. Mystery and Malaysian
Ropes.
trumpet snail hors d'oeuvres.
Ropes. I know you can buy frozen Japanese trapdoor snails.
That could work.
I've done it. Didn't eat them. Tried
Didn't
to
eat
feed
'em?
them to a puffer.
Tried it.
It couldn't eat them either.
Oh, could work. All right, so thank you everybody for coming out tonight. I'd like to say thanks to all the patronizers out there. We didn't have any new ones today, so I can't
Can't
I
shout
can't say
them out
what's up to
specifically.
those because we didn't have any new ones. But when we also don't have the scroll here, I'm gonna try and forward the video to Jimmy for maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Who knows? But we'll be back here at 10 a.m. on which channel tomorrow?
Oh, the Jimmy of Aquarium Co-op channel.
Jimmy of Aquarium Co-op. Real Fish Talk will be back at 10 a.m. Pacific
I forgot
Standard
about
Time.
that already. I'll be there though.
So we'll be running that. We'll be doing a bunch of shows and stuff tomorrow and getting all things prepped and blah blah blah.
Yep.
Put the
Lot of
wires
brain
in
talking.
in the things and collate the files. I don't know, all sorts of stuff. So I'd like to say thanks to all of y'all in the chat today, and special thanks to all the patronizers again. Go ahead and check it out if you get a chance, and we will see you.
Tomorrow.
Where's the button?
Oh.
Later. I don't actually have to find the button.
I'm just